Well, day number 2 of HP Discover, and we are talking about networking with Yanick Pouffary, who is a distinguished technologist from HP, who is supposed to deliver the missing pieces that will enable truly elastic networks. Are you prepared? At the end of a long day here, do you have the missing pieces with you?
Yeah, they're on the table somewhere.
Well, would it be fair to say that networks are in need of an overhaul?
Network needs to wake up and stop being the slow kid around the block, right? So the rest of IT has moved on. They're leveraging virtualization extensively, the separation of control and data in order to deliver this extremely agile environment, and yet the network has been lagging.
Why is networking lagging in adoption of these technologies?
So to be fair, up to very recently, the technology itself was implemented in individual intermediate systems, which it was hard to configure, it was hard to adapt, it was always black magic to evolve.
Very high skill level.
Right, and when virtualization came along, the network started doing some kind of network virtualization, but then we started hearing themes of, well, it's okay to worry about network virtualization and not to worry about the physical environment. So there was no real technology that was looking at both, trying to really build a fabric that you could control based on business policies. So what we see today is technology has reached a level with technologies such as software-defined networking and what the telco industry is looking at doing around network function virtualization. These becomes enablers to bring the network back up and match the trinity, the storage, server, and network, and enable this faster time to new services. So it's all about, yes, they've been laggers, but the technology was just not there. Today, that's not true. The industry has clearly understood the value proposition in having this separation of control and data, so you treat the fabric as just what it is, a way to just interconnect 2 points, but then you need to set up flows based on business policies to actually action the network, to get the network to implement that
you're
business
you're describing almost a technical nirvana, that everything works together and is talking to each other and is scaling and so forth. How does that happen really?
So
Different story.
So it is not nirvana. It's saying I have the ability to connect just in time, to have business rules direct the network to set up this connection just between me and my cooperating endpoints, just for the time of the communication with the right properties that the application needs. If you take Link, for example, Link is quite highly dependent on the network being able to deliver some kind of quality of service. And if the network can't do this, then you get a crappy call or a crappy video call.
But Link also has the characteristics of vastly different demands. You start out with a chat that's low bandwidth, and then say, oh, well, let's bring up a desktop.
So the way we've dealt with this requirement, not only its flexible requirements, but also the traffic is encrypted. So what happened is the network cannot guess what is really going on within the application. Is it voice? Is it video? What is Link really doing? So with software-defined networking, we've enabled this application to say, okay, I'm making a video call, please do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm doing just simple chat, please do this kind of requirement for me. And that is done in real time, and that is done ahead of the encrypted channel, which means the network can then deliver what the business or that particular application wants. So that's totally a paradigm shift. Today's network, why are they lagging? Because we don't know the application demands, so you cannot, you got to lay the foundation ahead of potential demand. Instead of being directed, this is what I need at this point of time. And oh, by the way, when the call is off, the call is off. You have the resources back for the next set of application
So how can companies begin to build a more responsive network?
So it's very important to understand that you need to find your pragmatic way to get from your as-is state to your to-be state. So we know in our to-be state we need to be flexible, we need to be on demand, and we need to be as granular as the business rules that you want to instantiate needs to be. So how do you go from where you are over provisioning your network, you're not agile, you're quite human driven, that is quite a lot of CLIs, and how do you get to this end state? So for that, it's all about understanding the business rules, understanding the capabilities that you have in your existing network that can be expanded, enhanced to leverage software-defined networking, and then understanding your business need. For example, do you need security at the edge, and do you happen to have enough infrastructure at the edge to leverage this SDN-enabled world? If that is the case, that may be your low-hanging fruit. If it isn't the case, maybe you say, well, today I'm going to put in place a policy, procurement policy, that says acquire enough so that when the time is right for you, you deploy it there. But there's a plethora of options, but it's all about finding your pragmatic path. The thing I would say, don't think of it as to get to this to be nirvana, I got to do a rip and replace. It isn't the case at all. It's a hybrid model, and it's a business-driven model. You do it. If it is Link you want to deploy, please deploy Link and leverage SDN to deliver this end-to-end encrypted QoS with low latency model. If you do this, you're home free.
So it sounds like there's a discovery process, an inventory process,
correct.
And then a development of a staged plan in order to implement
That's
that.
exactly right. And
how does HP help customers do that?
So I am from Network Services, so the way we do this is we actually work with the customer to really blend both the technical and the business reality. And this is done through a service that we call Transformation Experience Workshops. And this service really do exactly what I said, finds this pragmatic path through the maze to get you to this to-be state. And then, of course, once you've done this, then we assess your environment, we help you with the design and the architecture, the implementation, and then we also have a full set of support services that go hand in hand with deploying this ecosystem. So really, we have a full life cycle of services which de-risk and enable you to deploy this trusted network transformation.
Yes.
So what HP Network Services does do is actually you start the journey from the as-is to the to-be state by having a transformation workshop. During this workshop, we bring all the different stakeholders, business, finance, architecture, we bring them together and we build this pragmatic roadmap. Once you have this pragmatic roadmap, we also identify low-hanging fruit, that is success, part of projects which will encourage more successful projects, which also deliver business ROI, and then we go off and assess, implement, and deploy. And then, of course, we also deliver support services that go hand in hand with this enablement full life cycle. And this process is really meant to de-risk the transformation and enable you to have this trusted methodology to get from that as-is to be. I want to say one more thing, which is you have to change. The world around you is demanding that the network is transformed, and it's always challenging. When do I start to do that transformation? And actually, I would say start now. Don't look at it as a risk choice. On the contrary, it is actually a very safe choice because you are readying yourself to be able to sustain what we heard Meg Whitman talk about, which is the Internet of Everything, right? The Internet of Things, the ability to have everything being connected in a meaningful manner for the business and for you.
Excellent, excellent. Where would people go for more information on the transformation workshops, and how can they begin that process?
Correct. So what we have is, so you go to hp.com/services, and then you'll see all the different services that we offer. And then there are services around SDN and network transformation, which is where you need to go. And we'll take you from there. We'll actually take you on this trusted journey of transformation.
Yeah, indeed. Yanick, thanks so much for joining us
You're welcome.
again here. It's always good to, always a
Definitely,
pleasure
always
to
good to talk to you.
Thanks to you folks for staying with us on our coverage for HP Discover. this is the conclusion of day number 2. But tomorrow morning we will be on once again providing coverage from here at HP Discover in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Live streaming of SDR news coverage at HP Discover has been made possible by Intel Corporation. Check out Intel OpenPort IT, where you can connect with your peers at Intel on industry topics, best practices, strategies, and more. And by Microsoft, where HP and Microsoft are working together, combining their respective strengths to deliver innovative technologies to help advance your business.